As always, there's only one invitation. The experiment is about feeling your feelings and feeling whatever is available right now. It's weird. The experiment is very weird. It's weird for many reasons. The first one being, and in no particular order, all the experiment ever is an invitation to feel whatever feelings are available. You don't need to have words for them. You don't need to be able to say, this is sadness, this is happiness, this is frustration, this is anxiety. You don't need to have words for it. And unlike some other practices like this, you also don't need to ignore your thoughts. You can have as many thoughts as you happen to have. The experiment is simply about feeling the feelings that come with the thoughts. Um, this is also not just only for big feelings or scary feelings or yucky feelings or bad feelings. It's for all of the feelings. It's for big ones, it's for little ones, it's for petty ones, it's for important ones, it's for positive ones, it's for negative ones. What else do I want to say? Oh, the other thing that's weird about this hour is that in my dream scenario, it's so cool to feel your own feelings and be with yourself that you don't want to come back to what I have to say. So please set your timer for 10 minutes to the hour. I'm going to make sure my timer is set for 10 minutes to the next hour. So that will bring you back to this call so that we can conclude our call. The other thing I want to say here before we get into the first invitation to run an experiment is I'm going to open up an option for you to ask questions or to share your experience. I'm going to wait for a long time. I'm not waiting you out. If you have nothing that you feel comfortable or compelled to share, you are not required to. I'm not waiting you out. I'm simply waiting to make sure that I wait long enough to give anybody who wants to share something the opportunity. Of course, I'm dying of curiosity to know what your thoughts are, but you get to share what you feel comfortable sharing. This is set up so that you can all hear each other, but you cannot see each other. I get more energy from this when I can see you, but you are not required to show me your face. This truly is an hour that is for you, and I'm simply here as a host or a guide on this experiment. With that being said, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to invite you to run an experiment. The only invitation is always, as I've said, to feel whatever feelings are there. And I'm going to kind of set you up with a way to start. But truly, truly, the experiment is simply about feeling what you're feeling. So if I make an invitation to you to feel your feelings in a specific way, and the only thing you've got is, oh my gosh, this isn't working, that's awesome. Feel the feelings of, oh my gosh, this isn't working. Or if all you've got is, I don't even know what Sarah's directions were, that's perfect. Feel the feeling of not knowing what my directions were, because that's all the experiment is. It's an invitation to feel whatever feeling is next. So with that, here's my first invitation to you. Feel the feeling of yourself sitting or standing wherever you are. You don't need to have a name for, oh, my shoulders are tense or my feet hurt or my head is tired or whatever. Simply feel the feeling of sitting wherever you are. And I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes. Again, my dream scenario would be that you get so lost in the experiment, you don't want to come back. So I invite you now to turn the volume down on me. In 3 minutes, I'll start talking. And if you're curious or if you have FOMO, you can come back and see what I have to say or what my next invitation is, or you can just stick with that first invitation. So go ahead, please turn the volume now, and I'll start talking again in 3 minutes. That was 3 minutes. For those of you who have your volume up or are here, who has an observation they'd like to share, an experience, or a question? And you can use the little react button or you can wave at me, whatever feels right for you. All right. Groovy. Here's the next invitation, and I'm going to do a little teaching before this. I came to the experiment after reading a book called Letting Go by David Hawkins, which, by the way, is a very long book with very many long, important words in it. There's a couple of things in that book that I think are really important for you to hear, and they're important parts of the experiment. David Hawkins talks about the fact that we typically do one of three things, or maybe two or three of three things when we have feelings. One is we push it down, we suppress it. That makes sense. I was very familiar with doing that. The second thing he says we typically do is we escape from it. We get busy working or working out or drinking something or smoking something or whatever. That made sense to me. I've certainly done those things. The thing that blew my mind that he says about his book, and that is absolutely part of the experiment, is this. He said, we talk about our feelings. And that, he said, and this really surprised the heck out of me, is not what feelings are meant to do. They are meant to be felt and be felt fully in your body. And so that's what the experiment is all about. And I say feel your feelings because it's way more fun to say than feel your emotions. Technically, an emotion is the physical experience you're having around a feeling, which is technically the word. I am sad, I am mad, etc., etc. What the experiment is all about is feeling those emotions, or instead of talking about the feelings, feeling the feelings, feeling the experience around this, feeling sadness, which, by the way, I just have to say, I think our words that we have for feelings are so not even close. Like if you think about things that you're sad about, you could be sad about the loss of someone you love from 20 years ago, or the loss of someone you love from 2 weeks ago. The feeling of sadness for those two things are different. That's the beauty in my book of the experiment, is you get to feel that feeling instead of have one word that's supposed to talk about both of those experiences that you might have. So with that, here's my next invitation to you. And of course, as I know I've said, the only invitation ever is to feel whatever feeling is right there and to feel the next one and feel it completely, which, by the way, for me is usually fairly quick. So in 3 minutes, if all we were to do is feel whatever feeling is next, you might go through 9, 10, 11, 12, 20 feelings in that time. Or maybe one. I'm sharing my experiences. It's usually a pretty quick thing. For you, it might be longer. I don't think there's any sort of rule about that. The only piece of it is you're feeling it fully, and you'll know you've felt a feeling fully when a new one shows up. I like to say feelings are like people waiting in line at a concert for the bathroom. They line themselves up in the perfect order. It's simply your job to feel the next one that's available. And it's not your job to name it and then send it away. Can you imagine if you were in line to go to the bathroom at a concert and you got to the front of the line and someone said, your name is Sarah, now go away? Like, that's ridiculous. So we're not here to name the feelings. We're here to feel the feelings or to let them come in and relieve themselves. That's this work here. So with that, here's the next invitation. Please imagine your week. What's on your schedule for the week? What's already scheduled? What are the things you're planning to do in between the meetings that are scheduled? These might be things on your to-do list that's written down, or your to-do list that's rolling around in your head. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to feel your schedule for the next week. You can just go through it in your head and feel the feelings. If something else pops up, that's perfect. Feel the feelings of that. If your head goes wild thinking about 1,000 things, that's perfect. Simply feel the feelings around what is coming toward you. If you're like, I don't know if I'm feeling anything, great, just pretend you are. Feel the feelings around whatever is there until the next thing shows up. And we'll do 5 minutes. So again, in just a moment, I invite you to turn the volume down on me so you can tune into you. In 5 minutes, I'll get us started again. 5 minutes starts now. All right, that's time. You might have had some insights during that time, or some thoughts, or some brainstorms, or realize something you forgot to prioritize. Take a moment and write those down. I don't know that this is true for everyone, and it's certainly not true for me all the time. And often when I run the experiment, I get insights that are helpful. Who has an experience they'd like to share or a question that they have about that experiment or the experiment in general? And again, you can raise your hand or show your face and wave at me or find other ways to tell me you want to talk. Maybe telepathically, let me know. I don't know if it'll work, but you can try it. All right. A little bit of teaching here, and then we'll do, I don't know if I even want to call it teaching, a little bit of sharing about the experiment, and then we'll do another one. One thing I have noticed in running the experiment in my life is when I get confused about things, it's helpful for me to run the experiment in that moment. And it might be confusion about a thing that I consider very small in my life or something really big. So it might be, oh gosh, which thing is more important to work on now? Confused. I don't know what it is. It might be, oh my gosh, I'm kind of lost getting somewhere. Okay, that's an opportunity. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes when you do it, but you can feel into, I'm not sure where I am. This is a tool I use throughout my day, throughout my week when I'm confused. And so we'll do our next experiment on that. Think about something you're confused about. Maybe it's an interaction with someone. Maybe it's not having clarity about how you want to approach a situation, what you want to do with your work or your business. Maybe it's confusion about a relationship with someone else or yourself. Maybe it's trying to figure out how to go forward on a health question. I'm just throwing out some options. I don't even know why I'm throwing out options. I'm sure in your adult life in this world, you have plenty of things you're confused about. So we're going to do 5 minutes on that. Think about, and you might even talk through in your head this thing you're confused about for a moment, or write down the sentence, whatever feels right for you, and then feel the feeling of the situation. If that doesn't work, feel the feeling of it not working, or also alternatively, feel the feeling of being confused. There's so much good stuff in here. Feel the situation, feel the feeling of being confused, or just feel the feeling of how yucky it feels. At least for me, it feels yucky to be confused. Maybe for you, it feels awesome. We're going to do 5 minutes on this one. No, we're going to do 4 minutes on this one. 4 minutes about this thing you are confused about, starting now. That was time. Again, you might have had some insights or thoughts come to you. Jot them down. You have to write the whole story. Trust that you'll remember the most important part or parts. Who has an experience they'd love to share, or an observation or a question from that experiment? Also, who can hear the birds going crazy in my yard? Can anybody hear that? I think Zoom makes the sounds go away, but it's beautiful. Okay. Hmm. So the experiment is always and only an invitation to feel the next feeling that's available to you. In my experience, feelings line themselves up perfectly, and they come with thoughts that are lined up perfectly for us as well. If the only thought available is, this isn't working, this is too hard, this is gross, those are the perfect thoughts and the perfect feelings to be associated with them. In my experience, and maybe this is just me being playful, which is fine because that's perfect. Life is a nonstop invitation to run the experiment. And I mean, oh, here comes an airplane. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, it's loud. I'm gonna wait for just a moment. What I mean when I say life is a constant invitation to run the experiment, I want to be clear that what I don't mean is all the bad and shitty things that happen all the time. Because there are not bad and shitty things happening all the time. I also mean the joyous, the wonderful things, the birds chirping, the unexpected hug you just got from someone, the thank you note, the favorite song that happened to play when you're in a quiet room, that first sip of coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I hear from coffee drinkers that first sip of coffee is the best one. So that right there is an invitation. That's what I mean when I say, that's one of the things that I mean when I say the experiment is always and only an invitation to feel the next feeling. And that comes along with thoughts. It comes along with physical sensations. It might be an ache or a pain, coldness, warmth, the feeling of walking into a lake, a sauna, etc. That's what I mean. Again, that's one of the things that I mean when I say life is an invitation to run the experiment. As you begin with the experiment, what I've heard for some people is they do the experiment for 1 hour a week when they're here with me. And then they start to dabble in it outside of this hour. And so my invitation to you, which will be an invitation that you follow after this, or maybe you just go out into the world now after this, in this moment, whatever you want to do, is to either take the invitations that show up or simply go through life saying, that's an invitation. Oh, that's an invitation. Oh, there's an invitation. There's an invitation. Oh, I got another invitation. Life is simply a bunch of invitations to run the experiment, in my experience. So with that, let's do this. Let me look at the timing here. Oh, we're doing great. Okay. The next invitation here for you is to feel the feeling of another living thing around you. You might be out in a yard where there are birds chirping or a dog running around. You might be in a room or in a home or in an office where there are other people. You might not know them. They might be your neighbors who you don't know, or somebody Walking down the street. You don't have to know them or have any intellectual knowledge of them. You're simply feeling their presence. If there aren't any things that breathe, well, actually, I don't know, maybe plants breathe. If there aren't any things with lungs that breathe, maybe there's a fish, maybe there's a plant near you. Go ahead and feel those things near you. If there is nothing near you, think about a person or a dog or an animal, wherever it might be. Pick a thing. I want to say this. The experiment is not about having discipline. I'm inviting you to feel another living thing. If your brain decides to drop a cool idea into your head, feel the feeling of that idea. It's truly an invitation I'm making here to feel another living thing. But if something else shows up, feel that. We'll do 5 minutes on this one too. 5 minutes, at least starting with feeling another living thing. Starting now. Okay, that was time. If you had insights, thoughts, ideas connected to that invitation or anything else, go ahead and jot them down or don't. You can also play the I trust it will come back to me game. Who has observations from that one or questions? All right. Let's do an experiment that is similar, but not the same. Here's the invitation. Feel yourself. You started the last one feeling another living thing. I'm going to give you 4 minutes this time to start with feeling yourself. Of course, the only invitation always is to feel the next feeling. That may come in the form of a physical feeling, an emotional feeling, or a thought. Here, the invitation is to begin with feel yourself. And we'll do that for 4 minutes starting now. That's so funny. Thank you for telling me I was muted. That was for a long time. That is so funny. Oh my gosh, I am feeling the feeling of not realizing I was muted and super duper gratitude for the person who told me. Woo! What an invitation. Okay, here's what I'm saying. As always, hopefully you were just feeling what I was saying. I bet you were just feeling whatever great shit I was saying there. Okay, now I'll tell you what I was saying. That's so fun. Okay. The only invitation ever is to feel whatever feelings are available to you. Please notice the many invitations life gives you. The groovy ones, the uncomfortable ones, the little ones, the big ones. And please take as many invitations as you can, or as you feel like taking, or as you do. I have had the feeling doing the experiment in person would be really cool. And about 2 weeks ago, I had the chance to do that with a group of people. I have put some opportunities up on the experiment website for people to join me to do this in person with other people. There's one coming up on August 27th. That one will be in Denver. It's 3 hours of doing the experiment. And there's another one, not in person, but longer. I'll be doing on September 9th a 3 hour experience of the experiment. So if you want, let me put this in here. If you want info about that, drop me an email and I'll help you get connected to that. I'm also, as an experiment, I've been offering the chance to do one-on-one instead of in a group, do the experiment one-on-one with me. And I am doing this wild thing where I started at one fee. I filled up those spaces. Now I'm doubling the fee. I'm going to fill up those spaces and keep doubling the fee until people don't take it. So my current fee, which is wildly, ridiculously affordable, is $110 for 90 minutes if you want to be a guinea pig and do the experiment one-on-one with me. Also, drop me an email at Sarah B. Stern, me at sarahbstern.com. As always, and I already said it, but I'm going to say it again, notice the many invitations you get. These will come in the form of wonderful things, of beautiful things, of ugly things, of big things, little things, and all of the above and everywhere in between. Thank you for being here today. This was a historic experiment